Charles Leclerc reached the podium in Belgium, while Lewis Hamilton finished far behind him in the same Ferrari. But the difference was not simply pace. Leclerc's weekend exposed a brutal truth about the SF26. Hamilton was already losing energy on the straights, struggling through Spa's most demanding sector, and fighting a car that operated inside a dangerously narrow performance window. Then the contact with George Russell damaged the front wing, and the pit stop that should have rescued Hamilton's race failed to complete the adjustment he desperately needed. One Ferrari finished second. The other became almost impossible to control. And the real reason behind that gap reveals a problem Ferrari cannot afford to carry into the next race. Subscribe to the channel. Friday created the illusion that Ferrari had finally solved its biggest problems. Hamilton was fast immediately. He finished the opening practice session close to Max Verstappen, then moved to the top of the times in the second session. Leclerc also showed competitive pace, and for a few hours Ferrari looked capable of fighting at the front. But Leclerc's own weekend revealed something important. The SF26 was not consistently fast. It was fast only when everything worked together. That difference is enormous. A truly competitive car gives both drivers confidence across changing conditions. It remains predictable when the track temperature changes, when the tires age, or when the fuel load becomes heavier. Ferrari's car did not offer that security. Leclerc moved from third in the first practice session to 11th in the second. That sudden drop was not just a bad result on a timing screen. It was a warning. The car appeared to have a very narrow operating window. When the tires were in the correct range, when the balance felt right, and when the energy was available, Ferrari could look dangerous. But when one part of that equation changed, the performance could disappear. Imagine trying to balance a glass on the edge of a table. For a moment, everything looks stable. Then one small movement changes the entire situation. That was the danger Ferrari carried into the weekend. Hamilton's fast Friday lap created confidence, but Leclerc's sudden loss of pace showed how fragile that confidence really was. And beneath those changing lap times, Hamilton had already identified two deeper problems. The first was on the straights. Hamilton said the car did not have enough energy. Modern Formula One cars use electrical power to support the engine during acceleration. That extra energy helps the car continue pulling strongly as it moves down a long straight. But Ferrari's energy was fading too early. The car could begin accelerating well, then lose strength before reaching the braking zone. It was like a runner starting with a powerful sprint, then running out of breath before the finish line. Mercedes and McLaren were able to maintain their speed for longer. Ferrari could not. At Spa, that weakness becomes impossible to hide. The circuit contains long sections where drivers need sustained acceleration. Losing even a small amount of speed can make overtaking more difficult and defending almost impossible. Hamilton could position the car correctly. He could exit the corner cleanly. But if the Ferrari stopped delivering its strongest power before the end of the straight, another driver could still close the gap. That was already a major concern. But the second problem was even more complicated. Ferrari was also losing time through Spa's middle sector. This is the section where the car must change direction quickly, remain balanced, and give the driver confidence through demanding corners. Hamilton believed the car's general balance was good, but the stopwatch showed that Ferrari was still behind. That created a frustrating contradiction. The car did not always feel terrible. It simply was not fast enough. And that kind of problem can be harder to solve. When a car feels unstable, the driver can describe the exact sensation. The rear is sliding. The front is not gripping. The car is bouncing. But when the balance feels reasonable and the lap time still disappears, the engineers must search for smaller losses hidden across several corners. Leclerc's result helped expose that weakness. His drop to 11th showed that Ferrari's performance could change dramatically between sessions. Hamilton's comments explained why. The SF26 lacked energy on the straights, and it was losing time in the most technical part of the lap. One problem reduced its speed. The other reduced its cornering performance. Together, they created a car that demanded almost perfect conditions, and that placed enormous pressure on both drivers. Hamilton and Leclerc could not simply push harder and expect the car to respond. They had to manage the tires carefully. They had to find the correct setup. They had to decide where to accept a weakness and where to search for more performance. Every adjustment involved a compromise. More stability through the corners could create more resistance on the straights. More straight-line speed could make the car harder to control in the middle sector. Protecting the tires could reduce the sharpness needed for qualifying. Ferrari was not searching for a perfect setup. It was searching for the least damaging compromise. Leclerc recognized that more performance had to be found. He admitted there was still room to improve Ferrari's competitiveness. That may sound like a normal statement after practice, but inside the context of the weekend, it carried more weight. Ferrari had just produced encouraging lap times. Hamilton had led a session. Leclerc had been close to the front earlier in the day. Yet neither driver sounded completely satisfied. They understood that the visible speed was not telling the whole story. The car could look fast over one lap while still carrying weaknesses that would become much more serious during the race. A qualifying lap lasts only a short time. The driver can use the tires aggressively. The energy system can be managed for one maximum effort. The car does not need to survive repeated battles, dirty air, or changing tire conditions. A race is different. The weaknesses return every lap. The energy shortage appears again on every long straight. The middle sector deficit returns through every demanding sequence. And the narrow performance window becomes harder to control as fuel burns away and the tires begin to change. That was the hidden threat behind Ferrari's Friday pace. Hamilton looked competitive. With the field moving at a controlled lower speed, Ferrari could bring Hamilton into the pits while reducing some of the normal time loss. The plan was demanding. Serve the 5-second penalty. Change the tires. Adjust the front wing. Then release Hamilton quickly enough to preserve his chance of fighting back. Every task had to happen in the correct order. Every person had to know exactly when the work was complete. For a moment, the stop looked like Ferrari's best chance to save the afternoon. But the pressure inside the pit box was enormous. Hamilton's race was already slipping. The virtual safety car window would not remain open forever. The team wanted to complete the stop without losing another unnecessary second. That urgency created the next failure. Hamilton stopped. The penalty was served. The mechanics began working. One crew member remained near the front right side of the car, adjusting the front wing. That was the task Hamilton needed most. Then the release light turned green. Hamilton accelerated. The mechanic was still in front of the car. He was knocked to the ground. Hamilton immediately asked whether he was all right. Once Ferrari confirmed that he was safe, Hamilton made his position clear. The light had been green. That detail matters because the driver depends on the release signal. Inside the cockpit, Hamilton could not clearly monitor every mechanic around the front wheels. He trusted the system. Green meant the work was complete. Green meant the path was clear. Green meant leave. But the work was not complete. The mechanic had not finished the adjustment. And Hamilton returned to the circuit with the same front wing problems still affecting the car. That was the moment Ferrari lost its best chance to contain the damage. The collision with Russell had created the crisis. The penalty had increased the cost. But the pit stop was supposed to stop the problem from spreading. Instead, it locked the problem into the car. Hamilton now had fresh tires, but he did not have the balance correction he needed. The front still resisted him. The corners still demanded compromise. And the car's original weaknesses had not disappeared. It still lacked energy on the straights. It still struggled through the middle sector. The failed adjustment meant Hamilton could not attack those weaknesses with a stable front end. This is why Leclerc's comments about Ferrari's competitiveness mattered so much. He had already warned that the team needed to improve. The car's Friday pace had not convinced him that the job was finished. Hamilton's race proved why. When the SF26 was healthy and the conditions aligned, it could fight near the front. When one major problem appeared, the entire performance structure began to break apart. There was not enough reserve. Not enough straight-line strength to recover lost exits. Not enough middle sector speed to regain time through the corners. Not enough flexibility in the setup to absorb damage without a severe penalty. Leclerc reached the podium because he managed the limitations. Hamilton fell away from it because those limitations were joined by damage, punishment, and a failed correction. But even after all of that, Hamilton did not surrender the result. He adapted his driving. He protected the front tires. He searched for grip without asking too much from the damaged wing. And slowly the race offered him another chance. Oscar Piastri was also carrying damage after contact with Leclerc. With only 4 laps remaining, Hamilton moved past him and climbed into 4th. 1 position away from the podium. That detail changes the emotional weight of the entire afternoon. Hamilton was not hopelessly far from a major result. He was close enough to see exactly what had been lost. 1 cleaner opening lap might have changed everything. 1 completed front wing adjustment might have changed everything. 1 correctly timed pit release might have changed everything. Ferrari did not need a perfect race to place both cars near the front. It needed to prevent one problem from becoming several. And that was the real failure. Leclerc's second place showed the potential. Hamilton's fourth place exposed the fragility. The same Ferrari could look strong enough for the podium, then become almost impossible to recover once the chain of problems began. And the most important detail was still ahead. Because Hamilton did not miss the podium because the SF26 had one weakness. He missed it because every weakness became more damaging when the front wing was hurt, and Ferrari's only chance to correct that damage disappeared before the mechanic had even cleared the car.